Day 6 of the Diddy sex trafficking case. On the stand today, singer Dawn Richard, and she was testifying about numerous incidents in which she witnessed Sean Combs being violent toward Cassie Ventura.
Before the weekend, you testified regarding an incident involving an egg skillet in 2009 at Mr. Combs' residence. Do you recall that?
Yes.
You also testified that the following day, Mr. Combs called you back to his residence and made certain statements to you. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Can you please remind the jury the statements that Mr. Combs made to you at that time?
That the relationship that he had, that the incident was of passion, and that Cassie was okay, and that if we say anything, that we could go missing.
What did you understand him to mean?
That we could die.
Ms. Richard, how did you react when Mr. Combs threatened you in this manner?
I didn't react at all, was shocked, but also scared because it was our first time really getting started to record, and that was my first time really being in a group with everybody. And I couldn't believe that this would be the beginning of the journey for us.
The group you're referring to, Ms. Richard, is Diddy Dirty Money?
Yes, Dirty Money.
Following the incident in Mr. Combs' residence in 2009, did you continue to see Ms. Ventura while you were a member of Diddy Dirty Money?
I did.
Generally, where would you see her?
In the studio, in hotels, events that we would have, performances we would have, and in the house as well.
Generally, how frequently would you see Ms. Ventura?
Frequently.
After the incident in Mr. Combs' Los Angeles residence, were there other occasions when you observed acts of violence between Mr. Combs and Ms. Ventura?
Yes.
How frequently did you observe Mr. Combs being violent with Ms. Ventura?
Frequently.
Can you please describe for the jury what you observed generally?
He would punch her, choke her, drag her, slap her in the mouth. I saw him kick her, punch her in the stomach.
Prior to witnessing those incidents, were you able to observe the interactions between Mr. Combs and Ms. Ventura?
Yes.
And, generally, based on your observations, what would prompt these acts of violence?
It varied. It could be Cass speaking up for herself. It could be, random, like we wouldn't even know where it came from. It could be if she wanted to perform or she had an opinion about something. It just varied.
And when you state that it happens sometimes when Ms. Ventura would speak up for herself, can you describe what you mean by that?
Cass is like quiet. She would be quiet. She had a quiet demeanor. She was soft. And when she would have these moments of like trying to stick up for herself, trying to be more for herself, and he wasn't having that, he would hurt her for it.
You also testified that members from his security staff would observe these incidents. Is that correct?
Yes.
Can you specify, Ms. Richard, who from Mr. Combs' security staff witnessed incidents of violence?
D-Rock and Bonds.
And can you please describe what D-Rock's role was for Mr. Combs?
He was a bodyguard. He was also really close to Puff. Like they were close like brothers.
How would D-Rock and Bonds react to incidents of violence that they observed?
They wouldn't react. They wouldn't do anything.
Did you ever observe Ms. Ventura with injuries after these instances of abuse?
Yes.
Where on her body?
Her face. When I say face, her eyes, her lip, her arms, her knees.
How, if at all, would Ms. Ventura attempt to cover up or hide these injuries?
With makeup, clothing, and sometimes sunglasses.
Was there a time that you and Ms. Ventura and Mr. Combs were in Mr. Combs' New York residence?
Correct.
What happened while you were in the residence?
Kalina and I were in the bathroom getting ready, doing our makeup, and Puffy and Cassie were in the hallway arguing.
What did you observe happen next?
He punched her in the face.
Did he punch her with an open or closed fist?
It was a closed fist.
After Mr. Combs punched Ms. Ventura in the face with a closed fist, how did she respond?
She came into the bathroom crying. He walked off angry, and she came in the bathroom. And we were with her, and it was really quiet. You could see her upset, like she was hurt. She was embarrassed.
Ms. Richard, what, if anything, would you discuss with Ms. Ventura about her music career?
She wanted to put out her album, and I told her I would write for her. She wanted to do more modeling. She wanted to do well with her career. And I, myself and Kalina, we encouraged her to do that. We wanted to support her in any way that we could.
Did you observe any discussions between Ms. Ventura and Mr. Combs about those career goals?
Yes.
And how, if at all, would Mr. Combs respond in those discussions?
Mr. Combs didn't like that we knew or we talked to Cassie, and oftentimes we would pay for it.
Ms. Richard, can you describe what, if anything, you recall Mr. Combs saying to Ms. Ventura in those discussions?
Like, it was coming. But when he say it would come, he would also tell her, like, he owned her. And it was always wait, wait, wait for her.
What was Mr. Combs' demeanor in these discussions?
Sometimes it was just a moment of, like, wait your turn, and it was regular. And then other times it was violent and volatile, and we would have to see that.
Ms. Richard, what, if anything, would you tell Ms. Ventura after witnessing acts of physical abuse?
We told her she should leave.
How would Ms. Ventura react when you told her to leave?
Cass looked torn. Like, she would listen, but I could see the fear.
And what, if anything, did Mr. Combs tell you after those discussions?
He didn't like it when Kalina and I would talk to Cass because she would tell him, and then he would come and we would pay for it.
What, if any, threats would Mr. Combs make to you?
Y'all are going to pay for it. It's always you do this or else something bad will happen to you. It was always that, like a threat, that if you didn't stay in line there was consequences.
What was Mr. Combs' demeanor when he made these threats?
Sometimes it was a stern, like, moment to say it, and other times it was loud, angry, violent, and like, it's mean. It was mean.
Did anyone else speak to you specifically about your discussions with Ms. Ventura?
Yes.
Who was that?
Harv Pierre.
And what, if anything, would Mr. Pierre tell you?
Harv said it gets dark and lonely. And Mr. Combs used to say this too. It gets dark and lonely if you don't listen. It was very much like, y'all need to listen to him. Y'all don't want to deal with what happens if you don't. And that was stated by Harv and Mr. Combs.
What did you understand that when Mr. Pierre and Mr. Combs said it gets dark and lonely?
I had seen and witnessed brutality in a way that I had to believe that if the person that was supposedly in love with did what he did to her, what would he do to an employee? I imagine it would be worse than that.
How did you respond to these threats?
I saw what if you spoke out looked like, so I would oftentimes approach Mr. Combs like with softness and like, hey, how are you? It was always very much like, if I do it this way, I maybe will have a better chance than what the other way looked like.
Did you continue to try to intervene in Mr. Combs' relationship?
No. I made a decision that it would be best for the safety of myself to not interfere, because I don't think she was ready to really do anything.
Ms. Richard, directing your attention now to the following year in 2010, did there come a time that you were in a restaurant in West Hollywood, California, with Mr. Combs and Ms. Ventura?
Yes.
What happened at that restaurant?
Mr. Combs punched Cassie in the stomach.
While you were employed by Mr. Combs, did you ever observe him using drugs?
Yes.
What kinds of drugs?
Weed, ketamine, cocaine, Molly, E.
Approximately how often did you observe him taking those drugs?
Often.
Who, if anyone, would deliver the drugs to the studio?
There was this guy named One Stop that used to come in the studio.
Did you observe where he stored the drugs?
Yeah, he had this Louis Vuitton pouch, travel toiletry bag that he would put the drugs in.
When, if at all, would you observe Mr. Combs traveling with that Louis Vuitton pouch?
That Louis Vuitton pouch went everywhere from domestic to overseas.
Who would you observe carrying the Louis Vuitton pouch?
It could be his assistants or himself.
While you were working for Mr. Combs, when, if ever, did you see him with a weapon on his person?
A few times.
What kind of weapon did you observe on his person?
It looked like a handgun.
Who, if anyone else, working for Mr. Combs carried handguns or guns?
His bodyguards.
Ms. Richard, is your lawsuit against Mr. Combs still pending?
It is.
And are you aware of the details of any settlement negotiations with Mr. Combs?
No, I'm not.
Are you aware of how much money, if at all, has been requested to settle the suit?
No, I'm not.
As a result of your testimony here today, Ms. Richard, are you expecting any compensation?
I'm expecting justice.
Are you expecting any compensation, Ms. Richard?
From this?
From your testimony.
No.
Would you agree with me that over the few times that you sat down and spoke with the government that your allegations, the ones that you've testified to today, have changed over time?
No, I think they've been as best as I can recall.
You think they've been consistent?
As best as I can recall.
When you met with the government, didn't you tell them that Mr. Combs actually hit Ms. Ventura with a frying pan?
I said he attempted to hit her with a frying pan.
I didn't ask you that. Did you actually tell the government not that he attempted to hit her, that he did hit her?
Yes.
You told the government that?
That he hit her, yes.
And you agree with me that there's a major difference between attempting to hit someone with a frying pan and actually hitting them? You agree with that?
Yes.
But you gave two different stories, didn't you?
I did the best that I could to recall.
And isn't it true that you told the prosecutors that he actually threw eggs at her?
I don't recall saying it.
You agree that throwing eggs and then setting the pan down is different than hitting someone with a pan, right?
I do.
And you agree that hitting someone with a pan is very different than attempting to hit someone with a pan, right?
Correct.
You would agree that you told multiple different stories?
No, I would agree that I told it to the best of my recollection, and it was as close as I could give it.
To the best of your recollection, you have about 4 different recollections on what may have happened that day?
No, I don't.
Now, you testified on Friday, and you furthered that testimony today, and you explained to us that Mr. Combs called you to the studio the next day, right?
He did?
And that you went to the studio, Mr. Combs locked the door, and he told you this was a love and passion thing, right?
Correct.
And he told both of you, you better not say anything because where I'm from, people go missing.
Correct?
And although that's what you're saying here in trial, you would agree with me that even in your second interview, you didn't mention that?
I mentioned it. Whether or not, I don't know what the notes were taken. I don't know. I can't know what the notes are going to be taken, sorry.
Ms. Richard, isn't it true that the first time that you mention and allege that Mr. Combs told you people go missing was a week ago on May 10th, 2025?
No, ma'am.
Now, you testified that you saw Mr. Combs with a gun?
Yes.
And I don't want to misquote you. You said a few times.
Yes.
You were around Mr. Combs from 2004 to 2011. Pretty close proximity, you would say?
Yes.
So over several years, you saw a gun a few times?
Yes.
You told us once, studio, that's what you said?
The studio and sometimes the club.
You never saw Mr. Combs, pull a gun out and, cock it back or anything?
No.
You never saw Mr. Combs, load bullets in a gun or anything like that?
No.
Matter of fact, you've never seen Mr. Combs pull a gun out?
Just had it on him.
Just had it on him?
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about your testimony in reference to how threatened you felt by Mr. Combs. You were scared?
Yes.
So you separated in 2011, meaning you went on as a solo artist, right?
Correct?
And so you were no longer with or around Mr. Combs like that, right?
Correct.
And I mean, you being pretty scared and so fearful in fear of your life after 2011, you were away from him, right?
Correct.
And I'm sure you, being pretty fearful and scared of him, that once you were able to get away from him, you definitely wouldn't want to come back, right?
Correct.
But you would agree with me that you actually asked Mr. Combs to come back, didn't you?
Not to come back? No.
Isn't it true that Mr. Combs didn't just reach out to you, you reached out to him?
Correct.
And so you would agree with me that there is a difference between Mr. Combs reaching out to you and you responding to him, as opposed to you reaching out to him?
Correct.
And you were so scared of him, right?
Yes.
So you would agree with me that you reached out to Mr. Combs, and one of the reasons that you reached out to Mr. Combs was to work with him again?
Yes.
I want you to help us understand. Mr. Combs had threatened you?
Mm-hmm.
You perceived the threats as death threats?
Yes.
Feared for your life?
Yes.
Scared?
Yes, ma'am.
You're away from him 2011, but then you asked him to come work with him again?
Mm-hmm.
And shortly after Ms. Ventura filed suit, you filed suit yourself, right?
Correct.
And it is your want to get a lot of money from Mr. Combs, correct?
No.
So you're not filing a lawsuit to get money?
I'm filing a lawsuit to get compensated for the work that I've put forth.
And you would agree with me that your definition of compensation is money?
Yes, correct.